And speaking of trees, for anybody who's new to the area, there are quite a few Christmas tree farms in Stanwood, some of whom I do believe have closed over the past couple of years, but there's still enough of them that if you kind of drive back towards the highway, there's a couple tree farms, and I know moving from the East Coast, we thought that was really cool, that you can actually, like, they're really growing in the ground, and you can cut down your own tree, as opposed to going to, like, Home Depot and buying one, which doesn't seem as fun. So do check out the local tree farms, or Orchards has them already cut.
Hey Islanders, and welcome to our bonus episode 6. This is going to be based on our holiday and winter events here in the Stanwood Camano area. So strap in and get ready for all the great events. Hi, I'm Brandon Erickson, and you're listening to the Camano Voice podcast, where I interview local business owners, comedians, singers, and more. I dive into their backstory to find out how they got where they are, what are some of the tips for you to do the same, and find out where they are going. Tune in every week as I interview more of the people you see every day. All right. Well, I missed 2 weeks in a row, so that wasn't great. So welcome to the Camano Voice, where we release an episode almost every Tuesday. Sometimes when we forget or don't get enough interviews lined up or things happen, then we don't have it every Tuesday. And this episode is kind of a weird one. It is not your normal episode. Most episodes I do here, I'm doing a long-form interview with local businesses or people in the area and talking about what they do, how they got there, and a little bit about their business. But that is not what today's episode is. In fact, many of you may or may not know I have another podcast. Okay, so it's not really my podcast, but I am the host of that podcast. And it is in conglomeration or in continuation, partnership. It's a partnership. It's a partnership with the Camano Chamber of Commerce. And so I host that episode, but it is focused on things about Camano. It's called the Welcome to Camano Island podcast. And we talk about the episodes are a little shorter, and they're more focused on topics instead of around the people that are talking about the topic. So we usually bring in an expert or someone that's been here for a while to talk about certain topics. So this one is actually going to be based on the holiday events. And the reason I'm reposting it to this podcast on the Camano Voice is, one, I may or may not have recorded a podcast in time to get one out. And two, I did want to share with you guys that we have this other podcast. So to go check that out if you haven't already. So anyways, all of that. But we have a lot of events that are coming up here in the Stanwood Camano area. So I did want to get that out because there are just so many going on. There's places to look, but you have to look in different places for all of them. So we thought if we consolidated them all into one little podcast, nice little package, you could get to more of them. So that is what we're doing. This is kind of a stopgap episode for me. I do have an episode coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, so I'm just going to jump into this now. Here we go. Here's a podcast about winter events in the Stanwood Camano area. Welcome to Camano Island, listeners. Today I'm here with Jessica McCready, who is the executive director of the Camano Chamber of Commerce.
Hi.
And so today's episode, we're doing a little bit different. We're not doing like interviewing another guest that's an expert in the field, but we're going to be going over all of the events we have going on in November and December.
Yes, holiday events. It's going to be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering where we are in the month. So, so I guess we'll just kind of jump right in. I'll talk about the first thing just because it's happening over at our place. But yeah, on the 4th of November, we are going to have the Taste of the Marketplace event. It's an event we do every year. It kind of kicks off our holiday house that we have. And we have free food, which includes some of the items that we offer in-store. But it also includes, our head baker, Barry, was asking me, he's like, do you mind if we do experimental things that night? And I was like, sure. So we might have some fun things that we don't normally carry within the store that, Barry comes from a long background of chef and stuff like that. So I think he'll, have fun with that. So anyways.
So would those be things that if they're like received really well, you might carry?
Maybe. Okay. I think there's some like simple savory things he wants to do for it. Okay. And then we've just continually tried to grow different pieces of the bakery that there's so many things that he wants to learn and have people learn in the bakery, but we only have so much counter space. So
Right.
yeah, so hopefully he's going to get to try some of those out.
All right.
There's going to be live music there. Lydia Crouch from The Loft will be doing a live painting. So anyways, it's a free event, fun to come out. It's from 5 to 7 on November 4th, which is a Friday. So just after work, people come by, and sometimes they use it as their dinner, but come and hang out. So yeah.
That's really cool. I can't wait for some of these things to begin. It's we were just talking before the podcast about how we're sitting here in October and it doesn't even feel like October. This episode won't launch until the beginning of November, so maybe it'll feel a little bit more like winter in November. I don't know if we should wish for that or not. But typically this time of year, people are really looking for things to do, get out, especially when it's going to be dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually a little bit rainy, so some fun festive holiday events coming up.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that we are really, really excited about is Chili Chowder Cook-Off, which we have not had in 2 years.
Woohoo!
I know. So we are calling this the 25th almost annual Chili and Chowder Cook-Off. This is the biggest fundraiser for the Camano Chamber. It's a really popular event for people, and that is happening always on Veterans Day weekend. So that is Saturday, November 12th from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the Camano Center. And tickets are on sale online now. They're $15 if you purchase them online, and that's for 10 tastings of chili or chowder. And then if you want to purchase tickets at the door, they're $20 at the door. And we have tons of chili, tons of chowder that you can come and taste. And then one of the best things is people who attend get to vote on their favorite chili, their favorite chowder, and their favorite booth decoration. We also have a big beer garden, and we're going to have cider this year from Camano Cider.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and
Nice.
wine and beer, and a fire pit outside with s'mores and live music. Fiddle and Squeeze, who are here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Fiddle and Squeeze are going to be our musicians this year. So it's a huge raffle that we're collecting raffle items, but we've got lots of really cool stuff coming in. So again, that's on November 12th from 3 to 7. One of the things that we do for that event is, because it happens on Veterans Day weekend, we let veterans or first responders who have ID in at half price. So that veterans or first responders with proper identification can just come to the event and pay $10 instead of $20 at the door.
Oh,
for
nice.
10 tastings. So we just want to honor our veterans and thank them for their service. And speaking of that, the Veterans Day, there's a Veterans Day celebration the day before Chili Chowder, which is Friday, the 11th, at the Floyd, from 10:30 to 12:30. And they're going to have music, coffee, cookies, local quilters, and there's also an opportunity to sponsor a wreath for the veterans at that event, and the deadline for that is December 17th to sponsor a wreath. So those are the Veterans Day activities, or Veterans Day weekend activities, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a busy weekend then.
I know. All these weekends start to get really pretty busy. And then before we know it, we are into Thanksgiving time. So the food bank does have a Thanksgiving serve. It's a full meal on the 16th of November from 10 to 3 and the 19th of November from 10 to 2. I know that I've brought my own kids to volunteer at the food bank. They typically do get a lot of volunteers at the food bank during Thanksgiving, but they did say that they are really in need of volunteers at the thrift store
Okay.
during the holiday season, and that anyone who's interested can sign up to volunteer at the food bank thrift store online.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So we've got other things coming up. I wanted to touch on, did we end up doing...
Oh, shop local, win local.
Yeah, so we've got Shop Local, Win Local, which is in November as well. Do you remember the dates on all that?
I do. Yes, this is an event that we started last year when we couldn't have Chili Cheddar Cook-Off. And this will be our second year of Shop Local, Win Local, and it's from November 1st through the 15th. So thank you for reminding me that. It does overlap Chili Chowder. But we have 19 participating businesses, and you can find a list of all those businesses on our website under the event. And basically, for every $20 someone spends in a participating business, you get one drawing ticket. And so if you go in and spend $40, then you're getting 2 drawing tickets, and you can keep going for those. So there's no limit to how many tickets you get. You do leave the tickets at the business. And then each business is going to do weekly drawings for prizes. And then at the end, we collect all of the tickets from all 19 participating businesses. It ends up being a lot of tickets. And then we're going to draw 3 grand prize winners this year.
Nice.
So we're going to have a gold, silver, and bronze level prize. And those prizes are pretty amazing. They're full of gift cards from all local businesses. So perfect for the holiday season. The event is designed to encourage people to shop local, but also to shop early, to give those businesses some income coming in and shop early this year.
Yep.
Instead of waiting until December when you're all crazy anyway.
Right. Yeah. Well, and with gas prices and everything going up, it's nice to get that influx early.
Right.
With COGS going up.
Yes, and you don't have to drive far if you're just shopping in Stanwood and Camano.
Yes, for sure. Awesome. So the other thing that we have going on is on, so this is at the marketplace again. We've got the holiday market. I forget if that's the name we ended up using or not, but it's something along those lines. But basically, we go out and reach out to a bunch of local artisans, artists, and just have a different offering upstairs in the marketplace. So it's going to be upstairs in the loft. So we'll have a few different vendors that either we don't normally carry or that we carry but we don't have as big of a selection. But the reason we kind of do this is to harken back to like the very first holiday house that my dad used to do. How we got that started was talking to a bunch of different artists who were saying, you know, around Christmas time, they have no place to really like put their art up and sell it all. So he worked with the art groups and some other people to get a holiday house put together where you could come, get a lot of local gifts, artists, things like that.
Nice.
So that's kind of, and then eventually that evolved into the marketplace. So it's a year-round thing. But the holiday, you know, still holds a special place for that. So we want to add a little bit more to the marketplace during that time. So that's why we started doing this. So we've got a handful of vendors, and they'll be rotating between the weeks of, it starts basically Black Friday, and it goes to the 24th of December, so Christmas Eve. Yeah, so I think every week we change out some of the vendors. So you can kind of come back every week to see a new list of vendors that are upstairs. So yeah, so that'll be happening at the marketplace upstairs from November 25th to Christmas Eve.
Wonderful. So we are kind of moving in between Thanksgiving and Christmas right now. The Camano Schoolhouse has a tree lighting. It's called the Wonder of Christmas, annual Christmas tree lighting. And that will be on November 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. And if you haven't been to the schoolhouse, it's a really special historic building, incredibly cute, and it's really beautiful with the lights that they put on it. So that kind of feels like the kickoff, right, to more holiday things. And Giving Tuesday is on November 29th. That is a really interesting event that happens between Stanwood and Camano, and it's run by the Stanwood Camano Area Foundation.
Okay.
And it is just for fundraising for nonprofits. So there are, I don't know how many there are this year, but I'm guessing like probably close to 30 different nonprofits that submit applications with certain projects that they want funding for.
Okay.
And Giving Tuesday is a day where people just donate all day that day.
Wow.
And they can choose different projects. They can donate to all of them. They can win certain prizes based on when you're donating. It's really fun. I love watching the money. You know, you can look online and keep seeing, you know, what money is coming in and going to which organizations.
Nice.
And I mean, our nonprofits in this community are really important, and they often are operating on very skeleton budgets. Yeah. So the more that we can give back to our community, the better on Giving Tuesday. And then Lights of Christmas. Have you been to the Lights of Christmas since they've switched it up the past
I
couple
had
of
not
years?
been to the drive-through one. I actually, I think we were planning last year and didn't end up working out. But I
Okay.
really want to go.
Yeah, we went. We've gone both when it was in person and then during COVID. For those of you who don't know, the Lights of Christmas, I believe, is one of the largest light shows in Washington State.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of lights that they have out there. And during COVID, they transitioned from a kind of in-person walk around to a drive-through. And I really love the drive-through.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's feels like you have your own little special like family bubble in the car.
Yeah.
You can still stop and get I think it's the cider donuts my kids are always wanting.
Yeah, we used to, or not used to, we went to a couple drive-through lights when we were over on the East Coast, when we were over there. And we went through them, and I was like, this is so much better. I mean, there's memories made in freezing your butt off trying to
Yes.
see all the Christmas lights. But it's so much more comfortable when you're just driving slowly. The kids get to, like, look out the window left and right.
Yep.
And, yeah.
And, you know, if it's raining sideways, you're nice and warm and toasty. And your children are actually contained in a car as opposed to, that's how I prefer the drive-throughs when my kids were little. And there's a tree. I can't remember what his name is.
Bruce the Spruce?
Bruce the Spruce, thank you.
Yes.
Even as teenagers, my children love Bruce the Spruce.
Yes.
They're going to hate that that's out there in the world. But yeah, so Lights of Christmas is really another special event. And it happens a long time. So it'll start on November 25th, run through the 27th, and then December 1st through the 4th, 8th through the 11th, 14th to the 23rd, and 26th to the 31st. So I would encourage anyone to go check out their website. You can purchase tickets online. They do have a limited amount of cars that they accept per night now. So if you know when you want to go, I would book your tickets ahead of time. But that's
Yeah.
a really fun. We always do Lights of Christmas, and then we end up going out to dinner somewhere locally just to make it kind of a fun holiday event.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And they, for those of you who don't know, they have to start that, like, near the end of summer, putting those lights up.
Yeah.
And they're working on it all the way up until they actually do the event. So it's an insane undertaking, and so it's so cool to see it all.
Yeah, and I believe it's almost all volunteers
Yeah.
that operate that. So it's a pretty impressive operation.
Mm-hmm.
And then wreath making. So when we're now in the holiday spirit, Christofferson Farms on Camano has holiday wreath making workshops on November 27th and December 4th. And this is an opportunity for you to go make your own holiday wreaths. You'll smell wonderful with all of the different things that they have to make wreaths, and get to check out the historic barn as well at Christofferson Farms.
Nice.
So I think that's it for November, right?
Yep. It's a lot going on.
Yes.
And that's just November.
That's just November. We haven't even touched on December yet. So here we go. December, this is going to be a really busy weekend. So for all of you listening, that first weekend in December, just like plan on doing all of the things. Old Fashioned Christmas at the Floyd is happening Saturday, December 3rd from 10 until 2. And the Floyd building is another great location for holiday events. They're going to have photos with Santa, music, crafts, cookies. They always give the kids these gift bags that are full of lovely little treats for the kids.
Yep.
And they decorate it beautifully in the Floyd. So that's a really great event, especially for younger, or families with younger kids, I
Yep.
would say. Go and get that done and then come home and take a nap, because after that, you're going to come to the Camano tree lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have that going on at Camano Commons again this year. We're going to do the first Saturday, so that same day, so December 3rd. And we'll have kid activities going on. I know the Crouches, so Lydia Crouch, who runs the loft upstairs, they always do a little activity for the kids to do. We usually have extra things around. I'm trying to think of what we're doing, and I forget. But there's a lot of stuff going on.
Hot
and
chocolate, right? You put
Yeah.
hot chocolate
I think
out
last
there.
year we were able to get, I think Windermere did the hot chocolate. And then, what else do we have? I don't know. We've got goodie bags that we'll be handing out to the kids, and a lot of the local businesses, Coastal, His Biz, a few of the other ones also donated little things to put in the little gift bags for the
Yeah.
kids. So, it's just a good time. And then again, we'll have one of the local schools this year do the music for the tree lighting. So we don't know. I don't remember exactly which school is doing it this year.
Okay.
But we will have music, tree lighting, all of that, and I'm deciding if we should buy a giant blow-up thing or not. And I'm being told no by many people. But anyways,
I might vote with them. Giant blow. Did you remember the wind tunnel coming through here in the winter?
It's fun.
And have you decided how large the tree is going to be this year yet?
We have we're gonna order our tree. We actually figured something out last year that we don't have to go cut down our own tree. Orchard's Nursery in town, they take pre-orders for giant trees.
Oh.
And they will deliver. They'll go cut it and deliver it and everything. And
Wow.
so, not get it stood up, I don't think, but they'll probably help, hopefully. But yeah, so we're gonna reach out to them and get a tree from them because those people are great. I love
Yeah, that
working
makes
with
it a
them.
little bit easier.
Yes.
And then you can go cut down your own tree and have it like as
Yes.
an experience. And speaking of trees, for anybody who's new to the area, there are quite a few Christmas tree farms in Stanwood. Some of whom I do believe have closed over the past couple of years, but there's still enough of them that if you kind of drive back towards the highway,
Yeah.
there's a couple tree farms, and I know moving from the East Coast, we thought that was really cool, that you can actually, like, they're really growing in the ground, and you can cut down your own tree, as opposed to going to, like, Home Depot and buying
Right.
one, which doesn't seem as fun. So
Yes.
do check out the local tree farms, or Orchards has them already cut and wrapped. And I believe Orchards and Hagen's, if I'm not wrong, have the ones that you can replant.
With the actual burlap
root
sacks.
ball, yeah.
The root balls, that's what they're called.
Yep, that's an option too. And holly, I love the holly that you can find at some of the local tree farms, and buy that right here locally. And then so we're still on December 3rd, the crazy day of December when all things happen holiday. Light Up Your Holidays is also going to happen, and that is Stanwood's tree lighting. They did not have a time set yet, but that will most likely be hopefully a little bit after Camano's. So if you want to go to both, you can. But that is sure going to be a busy day on December 3rd.
Yes.
And then talking about the food bank, again, they have a Christmas serve on December 14th from 10 to 3 and December 17th from 10 to 2. And they also have a Christmas house that will be a little bit different this year. It's operating at the old thrift store for the food bank.
Okay.
So the Christmas house used to be in a different building, but it's actually going to be all happening at the food bank this year. And they have a Coats for Kids drive. They are looking for new coats. If anybody wants to donate, they specifically said that they need male coats for males in various sizes. They have a lot of coats in pink and purple.
Oh, no.
And so various sizes of male coats that are warm. Maybe think about kind of what boys would wear. That would be really helpful. And the Christmas house does a great job supporting our community.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's more Santa. You're going to have Santa too. Did you say you were going to have Santa?
So we are hoping to have Santa.
Okay.
We're
Okay,
still tracking
sorry.
down a Santa. I was going to put it in here, and I was like, we're going to wait until we confirm the Santa. So
Okay.
be on the lookout on our website
Okay.
and social medias.
All right. Well, if Santa does not appear on December 3rd here, then you can certainly check out Santa on December 13th at Arrowhead Ranch. This is Afternoon with Santa, which used to happen at the Camano Center, and this year it is a collaboration between the Camano Center and Arrowhead Ranch. They always have really great crafts and decorating cookies, a beautiful setup. I think I heard that there might be reindeer out there this year.
Cool.
So again, that is December 13th at Arrowhead Ranch. Don't have a time, but I believe that normally happens during the week, and it's after school, is when that happens. And it would be really, I'm sure the backdrop's going to be cool with Santa and the barn and setup.
It's such a
over there.
cool area, the Arrowhead Ranch. If you ever go out there, it's a great property to go around. And super cool area. If you haven't gone there, it's worth it to check it out. And I'm sure they do a great job with decorating during that time too. So.
Yeah, and if they do have the reindeer, the those reindeer are really cool. So I'm not sure if that's guaranteed that the reindeer are there, but I was really excited to see like live reindeer. And then Santa, again, will be at Freedom Park on December 15th and 16th at the new building that is currently being renovated. So Santa will be there December 15th and 16th from 12 to 4. And anything fundraised from this will be to benefit Freedom Park. And pets are welcome if you want to have your pets photo taken with Santa on the 16th of December, again, between 12 and 4. So that building has taken a lot of work, I know, and it looks really beautiful with all of the new glass from Jack Archibald. And so it'll be kind of a neat backdrop for some Santa photos.
Yeah.
And then, not Santa, but gingerbread house workshops.
Yes.
The Camano Resource Center, I did this last year, it was really fun, has gingerbread house workshops. These will happen in early to mid-December. They take all of the hard work out for you because they actually pre-build the gingerbread houses for you. And they're,
nice.
yeah, it's just really nice. There's no like walls falling in, which is what I've experienced when I tried it at my house. And they're real gingerbread. They're not kits. They are real gingerbread that is made by a very talented woman who has templates, and she makes her own gingerbread and makes these gorgeous houses. And so then you get to come and just do the fun part where you put icing on it and the candy and the decorations. So keep an eye out for that. Again, at the Community Resource Center, it is limited in terms of class capacity. So when you see it, I would suggest signing up for it as soon as possible.
Nice.
Yeah, and then holiday festivities. Oh, this is also at the Community Resource Center. They're going to have an open house on December 16th from 5 to 7. Early evening full of holiday activities at the Community Resource Center. Everyone is welcome. Holiday refreshments, a hot cocoa bar. That sounds good. A holiday sing-along, and Santa will read stories to the kids and holiday crafts. So that's December 16th from 5 to 7.
Nice.
So many things. Is there anything that your family does, like routinely, tradition-wise, for the holidays?
Let's see. Well, we do Advent every year.
Okay.
So that's reading every night.
Yeah.
We do the lighting of the candles. We do where you do the roll your own beeswax candles and
Oh,
stuff.
neat.
So yeah, we do that. That kind of helps. I don't know. I feel like that kind of helps, like, because you're so crazy during the day with kids, you're with schoolwork and with activities and everything. So it's a nice centering thing that brings the whole family back. Like, okay, we're just going to read a little bit, and then we're going to talk about this. And,
Yeah.
so that's been a nice thing. My wife started us on that probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
Okay.
So that's kind of been one of our traditions.
Nice.
So what about you guys?
Well, with older kids, it gets a little bit, I don't know, you need more persuasive power to talk them into things. We always have a very big cookie making day, which is really fun. We have tried, again, our own gingerbread houses from scratch. I prefer to go to the Community Resource Center and do that part. But we have a tradition of going for hikes in the winter. So usually after Thanksgiving, we start doing that and just really, committing to being outside in nature, especially, that Shop Small Saturday, we go and support some local businesses and then go out and hike in nature.
Yeah.
And the other tradition that we have that I think came from my family is we use Christmas crackers, which are not like the crackers you eat. They're British, and they're the rolled things. Have you ever seen them? They have like the little ends on them.
Yes.
And so you have them for dinner. So whenever we have kind of a holiday dinner or a special occasion, we have the Christmas crackers, and you have to cross, right arm over the left arm and make a circle, and then you pull them, and they have little poppers inside them. And then they have little toys, and then they have crowns.
Okay.
They have paper crowns. So everybody who comes to our house and joins us has to wear the paper crown, whether you want to or not. And we did discover a couple years ago, there's actually a business up in Bellingham where you can buy the supplies.
Oh, okay.
So it's a cracker making business. And so you can make your own, which is actually kind of fun because we can put our own little like jokes and toys
Yeah.
in there. So
Nice.
yeah. And then we adopted a tradition that I believe comes from somewhere where, on Christmas Eve or a couple nights before Christmas, that we all go purchase new books and spend some time with chocolate and books.
Okay.
And quiet. No technology, just reading, candlelight, chocolate,
Nice.
and books. Yes.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, hopefully we don't get that forced upon us with power outage and stuff like that this year. But
Sometimes I shouldn't say this, knock on wood, we actually enjoy, when that power goes out just for a little bit,
Yeah.
everything gets quiet.
it
all of
gets
a sudden.
dead quiet, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes, children come out of their rooms. All of a sudden, you see them. Board games. I mean, the winter season here can be hard.
Mhm.
We're not going to lie. It can. It's gorgeous outside right now, and it's October. But
It's so weird.
It's so bizarre. It can get to be long days, right? When
Yeah.
that sun starts setting really early, and
Yeah.
it's cold and rainy. But I do find that if you can kind of embrace it, and if it's family game night, or if it's just, I don't know, knitting,
Yeah.
to try to slow down
Yeah.
a little bit.
I do enjoy I enjoy wearing coats or jackets or sweatshirts or something. So I like the weather that's in that fall period where you can always be wearing a coat and you
Right.
don't have to worry about it, taking it off or anything. Yeah, so I do enjoy that piece.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And, through the holidays, I never really mind the weather. It feels kind of festive, and you have, twinkle lights
Right.
out and the tree and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's when, mid-January
Yes.
rolls around that you start thinking, when is it going to change? But luckily, we have Glass Quest. So
Yeah.
while we're talking about holiday events, I will tee up Glass Quest. Is happening in February for 10 days, I believe. It is the 17th through the 26th. It always starts the Friday before President's Day weekend. I think it's President's Day weekend, which is a 4-day holiday for the schools. And it goes on for 10 days. So again, that's a great opportunity to get outside,
Yeah.
even if it's snowing, which it always does during Glass Quest, apparently. Get outside, enjoy our parks, go visit our local businesses, support them during the month of February, which is typically a really hard month for
Right.
local businesses, and just enjoy our community. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. But Glass Quest is on the horizon.
It's like winter is coming, but Glass Quest is coming.
Glass Quest will save us. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think that's everything for the episode. Is there any last things?
I don't think so. All of these events should be posted on our website, which is CamanoIsland.org, under local events. So if you are looking for holiday events, by the time this episode launches, all of these will be on our calendar. But just enjoy the holiday season. We have a lot going on here.
Yeah. And stay safe out there, especially if it snows or anything. Our last episode was about safety here during the winter. So be sure to refer back to that and just be safe out there.
Yes. Know your alternate route home.
Yes.
Yes. Go back to the last episode. All right. Thanks, Brandon.
All right. Awesome. And Islanders, we will talk to you on the next one. Well, thank you for listening to today's episode of the Camano Voice, and I hope to see you at all of those winter events. I do have a few links in the show notes of the Camano Chamber page as well as the Discover Stanwood Camano page. Both of those have some event calendars. Not all of them have the same ones. And the ones I mentioned for the Commons, those will be here. Sign up for the newsletter if you aren't, because that's probably the best way to hear those. Because, again, I forget to put those on Facebook or our website or any other place that we should technically be putting those. So that is my fault. But hope to see you at all those different events. Thank you guys for joining us.